we go, folks. That's what we're talking about. Sitting down, we're down on the stringers. Got a really nice tight gap. If you look down the sides there, I hope the camera can pick that up. We're well within 1/8 of an inch or so. It's okay if there's a little bit of a gap here at the bottom. I normally, rather than trying to cut a bevel or an undercut on that back side, a lot of times I will just leave it square, and then we're going to come back in there and we can fill that with some of the high strength filler. If you were to cut a bevel on it, if it's touching at the top of the bevel, a lot of times it's hard to get any putty or filler behind there. So a little bit of a gap is actually not a bad thing. We're using Coosa in this boat. It was originally plywood. Plywood rots over time. That's one reason we're replacing it with something that doesn't rot. But I know that a lot of people are looking for maybe an alternative. Sometimes Coosa is not available, or the pricing of it's considerably more expensive than plywood. But I want to talk about some other options. So behind me, what I have is a quality Douglas fir marine plywood in 3/4 inch. And if you look, you'll notice generally marine plywood is going to have more plies than your less expensive. You can see that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 plies or veneers there. And also, if you notice down the edge, it is pretty much void of any kind of checks or holes or voids in the plies themselves. It's also going to be an exterior glue, so it's going to have a nice space on it. It's going to have more plies, exterior glue, and we tend to prefer, or our family has always preferred, Douglas fir is typically the material. Now this is available from Boat Outfitters. We've mentioned them before. That's where we source a lot of our Coosa board as well. And they got other marine hardware and supplies, a lot of really, really cool stuff for fitting out your boat. But less than half as much as Coosa if you go this route. Now they also offer a treated Douglas fir. You can see obviously the color difference, but generally treated lumber is not that great when it comes to fiberglassing over it, which I'm actually going to do some tests with this because I haven't really tested it with our vinyl ester that we're using from Fiberglass Warehouse here lately. But generally this would be more for like pontoon decks and floors, and then maybe like seat cushion backers or something like that that you may not be fiberglassing over. And then as another option, as we move on down, there's another product that a lot of people may have heard of or be looking at, which would be like a PVC sheet or foam core. This is actually called Divinycell. Really cool product. This is their H80, which is a 5-pound density core material. So it's much lighter in density. Matter of fact, the weight of this is almost nothing. I mean, it's very, very light in weight. And if you look, you'll notice it does not have much structural rigidity in the foam itself. You have to fiberglass on either side of it. This can be good when you've got a molded panel and you're bonding it and you got fiberglass on either side. Matter of fact, right over here, I've got a little sample piece. Now this is 1/2 inch Divinycell with only one layer of the 1708, and it is incredibly strong and stiff, but very, very light. But the problem with this, you don't really have any screw retention. Like if you're trying to screw the floor down or screw into something, sometimes people will build stringers out of Divinycell, but you need to put more glass on the outer edges of it to kind of get the strength. I tend to like Coosa because it's about 35 to 40% lighter than plywood, so you're going to save some weight. But Coosa has a lot of strength and rigidity inherently in it. Like if you'll notice, when we're on the floor here, you can walk on this Coosa panel almost like you would plywood, whereas like the Divinycell is almost more, it's almost more like just this insulation board. Like if you were to step on the middle of it, you would step right through it. It would break. So y'all let me know if you're interested in maybe seeing a more detailed video or just a video detailing panel selection. Maybe we'll just do this one side. And since y'all have seen me do one already, obviously you kind of have the idea. We need a little bit more. This is where we can kind of just shim or shave. sides of these boats can have little lumps and bumps in them, and they're never going to be just a straight shot. You kind of have to just plan for that. You can save yourself considerable aggravation and frustration. You just want to be sure our back piece is correct. Be sure the front is making contact before our glue sets. Now you could theoretically use other materials. Had a people comment on this, and on our last video I should have touched on that when I was talking about making templates. You could use door skins, you could use cardboard, you could use thin, like say just underlayment material, for example. I like the Dow blue board because it's readily available, it's fairly cheap, it's easy to cut, and it has a lot of rigidity to it. Ought to be enough. We're going right over our rigging tube there and bonding. Glue is set. I like to set some little bricks on it as we're placing it, otherwise it can get bumped and moved and shifted. If you're enjoying the content, please remember to hit that like, subscribe, comment, share, and watch duration is a big deal, folks. Sometimes everybody thinks that the subscribers is a big deal, and that's important. We do really appreciate everybody that subscribes, but that long watch duration. So if you long-time viewers want to really help the channel out, you want to clean the house or want something on in the background, letting these episodes just roll through is a very helpful way to encourage the YouTube algorithm and encourage us to do more of these kind of videos. But I want to thank everybody so much for your support of the channel. Oh boy. Like a glove. That's where templating, that can give, again, people, if you've never done this, a lot of anxiety drilling holes and laying this stuff out. But you can see how perfect that was in real time. One pattern, one cut, one fit. So what we've been using, so we don't waste material, is the same piece of material we templated the transom from. We just keep moving forward. And I measured this width at the front side of this piece, but the boat is tapering at this point. So what I've done is, it won't fit in there even though this width is the same as tapering. So the trick is to kind of let it ramp up on the side, and then you can see we got a gap here, and I'm just going to scribe that same distance off of it. So I'm just holding the marker, and that is going to transfer this angle. But it's important that you keep our template piece, we're using that straight edge. And now we're down to the detail stuff. So I just put that little mark on that edge. Now one other little trick I want to show y'all is using a flashlight. If you can see, you can highlight the gap. Sometimes it can be challenging to see where the tight spot is. If you look right here, you can see we're making contact. Then we got about 1/8 of an inch there. So let's just trim a little more. If you folks are working on something that you need my one-on-one direct consulting time with, I know I've been having a lot of people try to reach out to me. Obviously we're very, very busy, but Patreon is the way to do that. And Patreon is basically like paid hourly consulting, and you can send your emails to me, pictures, what your project is, describe it, and then we will actually talk on the phone, and we will walk through questions you may have, or things that maybe you're having trouble finding on the channel here, or just want some clarity on things. So Patreon's a way to do that, and that brings me to thanking all of our Patreons. We've got so many here that are supporting the channel and have been members for quite some time, and that helps us do these kind of projects. Because like I said, this is not a customer's boat. This is content for the channel. This is a project boat we got just so that we can demonstrate floors, transom, stringers, and do it at a pace that works with our our life and other projects that we got going on in the shop. So thank you to all the Patreons that are out there. And if you want to reach me, Patreon's the way to do it. There should be information below our video's description on how to get in touch with us through Patreon. Let's see what we got. There it is. Whoop, I like it. So I'm pretty pleased with that. Just gonna keep on marching forward. Yeah. All right, let's do another one. So on this piece, folks, we had to add some wider strips over here because we had more curvature, but I actually used the pieces from the templates that when we built the stringers for this boat. So already hot glued that together. We've got a new marker here. I was having trouble last night seeing my marks. This one is actually a white. So in contrast to the black Sharpie that I've been using. We actually even picked up a new Jigsaw last night, Makita. This one's got a light. I don't know about y'all, but anytime you get a new power tool, it's exciting and nice, but there's always a learning curve to it. It seems like no matter which brand tool you buy, there's pros and cons to each. Sometimes I see a feature I like with one brand tool or the other. This is kind of cool. The Makita puts the key tucked in there in the back, and I like the light. Kind of went with the Makita platform. Maybe y'all can comment down below. I know we got a lot of Milwaukee fans and DeWalt fans. I've had good luck with Makita stuff, but I own a little bit of everything. But y'all let me know what power tools you really prefer and what you think. First time cutting Coosa with this new Makita. So far, so good. See how close we are. Like I said, as we move up here to the front, little more precision required. It's okay if there's a little bit of gap in there. That's what something like the fiberglass warehouse, the high strength vinyl ester putty, perfectly fine, and that's exactly what it's made for. But I can absolutely see we're making contact. I don't know if the camera will pick that up or not, but I definitely need to undercut right here where we make this transition from the sides to the bottom. That's called the chine, and that's a spray rail there. But you can see here, there's, especially right in this transition here, we had to really send that back at quite a slope. All right, folks, there you go. The last pattern, last template to get our forwardmost piece cut and fit. Feels pretty good to get the floor in place. Obviously, we still got to put foam flotation and some rigging pipes in and get our fuel tank in, but everything kind of worked out this week where it made sense to put the floor in, and it feels kind of good sometimes to make some big progress. So as always, folks, we want to tell you how much we appreciate you. Thank you so much for tuning in, checking us out. If you enjoyed the videos, please remember to like, subscribe, comment, share, tell a friend. It's Captain Joe here, Island Marine Charters, Fish Bump TV. My son Logan working hard behind the scenes as my amazing cameraman, and we'll catch you in the next episode.